This ain't just a podcast. This is a movement. This is advocacy. This is action. This is our cause. This is our cause, our voice, our lane. Blue and white, standing through the struggle and pain. From the streets to the state house, making real change. Great Lakes region, yeah, we're leading the way. It's our cause, our cause. It's our cause, our cause. Culture for service, humanity first. When the people need a voice, we put in the work. Brother Carl on the mic, bringing purpose.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, brothers, this is a very, very glorious moment because
yes, sir.
Now the Our Cause podcast is now back.
It's back.
We are back, and we are delivering what needs to be heard in our community in these days and times. And I really, really believe that we have a chance to be able to make a definitive impact. We are two great brothers of the mighty Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and we are going to give it to you straight, no chaser. I am Brother Anthony Eaton.
And I'm Brother Carl Nichols. And this is Our Cause podcast. You know, Brother Eaton, they say don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years.
Absolutely.
And I think just because we weren't recording doesn't mean the work wasn't happening. And I think sometimes you have to be in a space where the people need you most.
True.
And I think sometimes that's boots on the ground work. And I think with what we have ahead of us in our current political situation and financial and economic situations, I think we have to figure out how to get the information to the most people possible. And,
correct.
And in order to do that, we have to give it to them in a space where they can reach out. So we have it on a podcast. They can play this on their ride to work. They can listen to it while they're working out. But we want to make the space informative, a safe space where we can have safe discussions. Not
Absolutely.
Just about the brotherhood of Phi Beta Sigma, but about the current state of affairs in our country, and the role that the men of Phi Beta Sigma play in the work that needs to happen within our communities.
Absolutely. And this is a beautiful thing because right about now, I really feel like the temperature of everything that's going on, people really, really need to be informed. They need to be aware. They need to be prepared. And I feel like we have the ability to bring that to the masses and also carry the vision of the founders as well with this new work.
That's right. So before we get into the conversation, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Anthony Eaton. I'm from the east side of Detroit, Michigan. I am the Renaissance man in real time, if you will. Where can I start? First, I became a member of Sigma spring 2002 from the wonderful Xi Beta Sigma chapter, Detroit alumni. Also in that particular time frame of 1 year, I also became Prince Hall Mason. I am also an Elk as well. Before that, there was a tour of duty in the Navy. After that, there was a tour of duty in the Army. In between that, there's 20 plus years of corporate America experience. And along with that, established a creative conglomerate, if you will, that's still in the making, Continental Exposure Studios. But now, this particular work with this particular podcast is going to be something special, and I'm carrying it near and dear to my heart in order for it and us to be able to reach the masses that it will need to reach.
I think it's interesting to hear when two people have a kindred spirit, and so we haven't known each other long, but in the time that we've been able to communicate, we share some core values that are very similar.
Yes, we do.
And I don't know if it's that Midwest blue collar, Detroit. I'm from Cleveland, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was writing something the other day, and really Cleveland is what shaped me in my thought processes. And
True.
and likewise with Detroit, you're gonna get knocked down, but if you in that upbringing, you can't stay there, right?
No.
Because they're gonna keep knocking you down if they see you stay there.
Correct.
And so, and me, I from Cleveland, Ohio. For a long time, I was not living the life I should have been living. I was in these streets. Had an opportunity to go to college. Had no plan to go to college. I had dropped out of high school. But the girl I was dating was like, "I'm leaving for school." I was like, "Oh, what?" And so it kind of changed my trajectory. So I ended up going to college in Dayton, Ohio, and from there, moving down to Mississippi, moved to Florida, became a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated in Florida at Delta Omicron Sigma Chapter, St. Pete, Florida, in the fall of 2003.
Nice.
So we've even been members of this organization in a similar time frame.
Yes.
And so I met someone and moved back up north, and I've been living back in Indiana for 21 years now. Through that experience, and the career has led me from higher education to juvenile probation to public health, and now in this final iteration of my career into real estate.
Nice.
And through all of those, through higher ed, through probation, through public health, and through real estate, I've seen the inequities. I've seen the inequalities. I've seen the blatant racism. I've seen the structural design that was intended to not allow people to succeed. And so when we talk about this climate, I've seen this climate in action my entire career. And so, that is something, and not realizing until later in life, that's what was happening.
Yes.
And so how can I use the spaces that I'm in to better the communities that I care about?
Correct.
And to just give a little bit of color on that, I never knew so many white people existed until I got to college. There was not a whole lot around where I was at. Not a whole lot in my family. My grandmother remarried a black man. My mother, the only white man she ever dated was my father. And so I didn't see. So I was raised by a 70-year-old black man from Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
That was my father figure.
Wow.
The people that shaped me, the teachers that shaped me, we had like only two white teachers. There was 3 total white students in our school system. So, didn't know. So when I went to college, like, man, it's a whole lot of us. Right. And then to start to experience the isms, right? From my perspective. And I'm sure in some podcasts we'll tell that story, but there was vernacular that I was used to using in my circle in Cleveland that when I left that circle, I couldn't use that vernacular anymore. And so I got some stories about that. But again, through this service, through Phi Beta Sigma, this is the time for action, right?
Yes.
We are both involved in the fraternity's programmatic thrust of social action.
Yes.
And though the fraternity's thrust of Bigger, Better Business was its first program, when we look at the inequalities in business, the inequalities in access to capital through the BBB side, that's a social justice issue.
Yes, it is.
You look at the access to education and the access to funding for education and the access to school systems that are on an equitable basis. That's a social justice issue. So this social justice and this social action arm touches every touch point of this fraternity.
Yes, it does.
And every member, and every family member, and every community member, and every elected officer, social action is the DNA and the heartbeat of Phi Beta Sigma.
Yes, it is.
I want to talk about, so people they know who we are, right? And they
Yes,
know
they do.
that we have this show.
Yes,
But
they
I
do.
want to talk about the why. What is the why? Why are we doing this show? Why? What's social action? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you?
Well, considering the fact that my father was born in Birmingham, Alabama in 1929, and my mother was born in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1931, to be able to carry on the instance of that fight
Mm-hmm.
that they grew up in. The first Jim Crow, considering the fact that we might as well put it out there, we are in a new one. It's just gone digital. The red hat wearers, if you will, they are part of the new Confederacy. We're not gonna hold it up. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. And a lot of my fight comes from them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my fight comes from listening to those stories, chilling with my father in the basement. And he would tell me about, the time him and my uncle, were chased home, by the Klan. He would tell me about the times that, he's seen the lynchings go down and had to run from them.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother, same instance. And still, even in, their spirit form, that fight is still with me. But my mother, Little Rock, Arkansas, had the ability to share some stories about, the Little Rock Nine,
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. So
Now
of
let's
that.
put this in perspective, though.
Yes.
This is not 100 years ago,
No, it's not.
right? This is not 75 years ago,
No, it's not.
right? This is not old history, right?
No, it's not.
And
By
so
no means.
to have heard these experiences firsthand, not from a book, not from a podcast, not from a story tale time, but from your parents,
Mhm.
right? From a family member.
Mhm.
It makes it real. And I think sometimes as we go through social action, there's a disconnect
Yes.
because there's been a certain level of comfortability that people have experienced, right?
Yes.
Jobs and education and homes and making money. And, just because someone hasn't been lynched in your family in the last, 40 years,
Mhm.
there's still been lynchings,
Correct.
right? Just
Definitely.
because someone from your family member hasn't been overtly talked about or seen the Klan walking in hooded sheets, right?
Mhm.
But when you've tried to sell your house and they see that this is a black-owned home,
Mhm.
it appraises for less
Correct.
than it would be if it was a white-owned home.
Correct.
Access to loans for homes. This is still racism. This is a financial lynching.
Yes, it is.
And so we have to look at the organization of the ones we're fighting against, and we have to outsmart them. We have to outwit them. We have to out-organize them. We have to out-mobilize them.
Yes.
And we have to outwork them, to be quite honest.
Yes.
And it's something trying to explain to my son. So I have two sons, both members of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated.
Nice.
They have one of my things that was important to me was to do a better job, to be the father I didn't have.
Mhm.
And so I think I did pretty well with that. And so
Mhm.
there's a lot they didn't experience. but there's a lot they did experience, and to
Yes.
still in whatever year it was in the 2000s, 2020s, to be scared for my teenage sons to drive the car at night
Mhm.
should not be a fear that a parent should have in 2026,
No, it shouldn't.
right? But it is. A white parent even, right?
Correct.
With that fear because I have a black son,
Correct.
two black sons. And so so we talk about the why is that both of us have people that we love who have experienced this,
Mhm.
and we currently have people that we love that are in the midst of it. And so we look at the downfall of, how things are going politically, and the tearing down of the Voting Rights Act, the tearing down of so many things that so many people worked so hard to achieve with blood, sweat, and tears.
Correct.
And we have a responsibility to not allow that to be torn 100% down.
Correct.
One of the things I ask myself is what am I disappointed about within this social action world, right? That I haven't embraced and put myself in the midst of with Phi Beta Sigma. And I think what is disheartening is the lack of action in social action.
Yes.
It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of MOUs.
Yes.
It's a lot of meetings.
Yes.
Meetings to plan meetings.
Yes.
But we got to put boots on the ground. We need to be visible. And
Exactly.
I think the time and listening to the brothers in the brotherhood, I hear
Mhm.
they want to do something.
Mhm.
And it is our responsibility, my responsibility, your responsibility, the leadership's responsibility to give them tangible things that can be done, that can
Yes.
make impact. Because
Yes.
this is not a time to just sit and be angry.
No, it's not.
We can't
No,
be
it's not.
angry. It's not a time to sit and just say it is what it is either.
No, it's not.
Because it's going to be, it is what we make it.
Exactly.
And it is what we work for.
Exactly.
And so as we move through this show, and as we move through these episodes, I want to make sure that we have important conversations.
Yes, indeed.
And I want this to be a space where when a brother listens to this show, a community member listens to this show, they feel like they can jump on and leave a comment and ask questions or ask how they can help, ask where do they fit in. So as a pastor, we give something to our new members of our church, says, where do we fit into our congregation? How do I fit in, right?
Correct.
And brothers need to ask themselves, where do I fit in this fraternity? Where do I fit in? Where's my niche in the community? And so that is where I would like this show to go as we move forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I really do feel that as I've been giving a slight call to action, every time I greet a brother or talk to a brother, the time is now.
Mm-hmm.
And the time is really now because it's no secret of what's going on. Just the other day, they were speaking out about the dismantling of yet another congressional map down in Alabama.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, no, this, I already know, my ties to it. So in this particular space, this is when I chose to be on the right side of history, and I'll kind of share how all of that kind of came about. Jesse Jackson, who we just lost, it kind of hit me different because these are the guys that we were told about, coming up.
Right.
These were the guys that were in the mix of real social action.
Right.
And it hit me different because it was like, okay, and I'm thinking in my head, who's left?
Mm-hmm.
And then about an hour later, it hit me again. It's not a relay.
Right.
what happened to him and what happened to all of them that came before us. They were passing the baton. So I took it upon myself to say, okay, look, you know what? Something's going to have to change. And I need to be on the right side of history during this time.
Right.
So within all of that, there came some essays, there came some speeches, even the most recent I Have a Dream 2 speech, which I will talk about at another time. A whole bunch, but now as it relates to us and what we're getting ready to do with Sigma, really the time is now. We have to be boots on the ground now. We have to be the social action now that Jesse was, that Martin Luther King was, that Jose Williams was, that Brother John Lewis was, that we have to be that now in order for us to make sure that we are on the right side of history.
And that brings up a good point. So since it's not a relay race or a relay, where do you see the men of Sigma in 2026 and beyond? Where do you see them fitting into the work that those giants that you just mentioned? Where do you find them? Where do you see them fitting into the work that the giants were doing?
I see all of them, no matter where they are, no matter what your status is, no matter what you may have been maybe going through, I see all of them as boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I see all of them as a viable source of information. I see them as a viable source of protection. I see them as a viable source of knowledge to be able to help their respective communities navigate this current turbulence that we're in.
You know, and I like that because we tend to think that someone else has got it, right?
Correct.
And I learned at a very young age in sports, if it's everybody's job, it's nobody's job.
Correct.
And so we have to be very tactical in making sure that we assign roles.
Yes.
And that every brother is involved in something for the betterment of the community. And one of the things we talked about before, what is the difference between fraternal activity and true, genuine community service? And I think they can be the one and the same.
Yes.
But I also think when it comes to true, genuine community service, we bring in everybody off the sideline, not just Sigmas. We bring in Joe Blow on 26th Street. We bring in Alphas, Iotas, Qs, Deltas, Zetas, everybody, barbers, nurses, everybody. We're getting them off the sideline and focused on one thing.
Yes.
And so our fraternal activity, when we get together and we clean up a street, it is community service. It is. But there's a whole lot of brotherhood in the time that we have at that time doing it, right?
Correct.
But when we are truly in the trenches, it's not just us. It's everybody.
Yes.
Entrenched with us.
Yes.
And knowing that we're on the same page, on the same path, with the same goal in mind. And it's not, at this point, it's not good enough to be on the same page.
No.
We have to be on the same paragraph, on the same line, in lockstep. So
correct.
It used to be okay just to be on the same page. We got to be beyond that. We got to be on the same paragraph, on the same line, and knowing that, and with the same education, like, we're going to do this, I need you to do this, and I need to trust that you're going to get it done.
Exactly.
And so, you know, another call to action is that as brothers hear this show and brothers hear future episodes, they take one thing and they take it back to their chapel, they take it back to their family, to their church. This is the next thing we're going to do to be entrenched in the work, right?
Yes.
And when you're truly entrenched in the work, the programmatic thrust doesn't matter. Social action, education, bigger, better business, none of that matters.
Correct.
Because you're doing the work. And so when you're doing the work, that means that the service to the community is legit. And so we're all wearing one hat, and it may not be a Sigma hat, but we're wearing a save the vote hat, secure
Absolutely.
the vote hat. We're wearing the get out to the polls hat, and it doesn't matter what our organization is at that time.
Correct.
And I think that's the difference between our fraternal activity and our true, genuine service to the community.
Yes. And that's an excellent point, because, you know, looking at some of the old photographs, you know, it didn't matter your affiliation. You know, it was everybody marching as one.
Yep.
And now for us to be able to see exactly what it is that we're dealing with, how we're dealing with it, it's affecting people in different ways, mentally, emotionally, financially. I can go on and on, but we need to have the ability to be able to carry on as one, marching as one unit, one squad, one battalion, and having the ability to be able to overcome these injustices as one people. So
Exactly.
in regards to the instance of fraternal activity and community service, some of them can go hand in hand, but when you really get down to the crux of it, you know, the service is what will drive the true instance of social action.
And drive it to the change that we need to see.
Yes.
You know, and there are so many just people in the community, and I tell the brothers that I've talked to different chapters that if we aren't excited and energized about the work, how are we going to mobilize the community at large, right? If we look tired, if we feel beat down, if we feel that there's no hope, that our vote doesn't matter, our voice doesn't matter, but if we as men of Sigma feel that way, how are we going to engage and motivate the community to do the things that this work, right? And so I tell brothers, I know it's tough. There's a lot happening. There's a lot that, you know, if you don't watch the news, you don't know. But if you do watch the news, like, man, you just like, man, this is crazier and crazier every day. And so, and the thing, and I remember, and I don't know if I should say, I'm not allowed to say this on a Phi Beta Sigma podcast, but I remember the first time that 45 was running. I said, man, I'm going to bed. That can't never happen. That won't never happen.
Right.
And I woke up like, oh my God, it did happen.
Yes, it did.
And so I will never say that can't happen. And
this
so
is true.
The repealing of the Voting Rights Act, man, that'll never happen. It's happening.
Yes, it is.
So what other structures and infrastructure that are in place to ensure that everybody is equal? We can never say that'll never happen. We have to be proactive to ensure that it doesn't happen.
Correct.
And if we wait till October to engage the community about voting in November, we're too late.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If we stop engaging after the midterms, we've not done enough.
Correct.
If we just listen to this podcast and move on to the next podcast, you're not doing enough, right?
Correct.
And so it is about the action. It's about moving. It's about doing something. And we want to make sure that you and I, we have to make sure that the messaging is allowing for the brotherhood to gain something to do, right? Because I think a lot of brothers and a lot of chapters have a passion to do the work.
Yes, they do.
But there's not enough tangible things to say, brothers, we need you to do this, 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 and this. And I think once we do that, we're going to have willing workers. right?
Absolutely.
And I can't see any brother saying, "No, I ain't gonna get involved in that voter stuff." So I can't imagine that happening. I'm sure somewhere it may, but I choose to believe in the men of Sigma. I choose to believe in the community as a whole, that once we energize, because we want to empower voters, we want to mobilize the community, but at first we got to energize the community, because right now there's so many people in survival mode. Like, I don't really care about that election, because I just got to get this paycheck to make sure I get this mortgage, this rent, this utilities, this car note, this insurance paid. I ain't worried about that right now, but we have to show the importance of it, so that you don't got to work as hard to make sure that those things are paid. You don't have to work 17 and a half jobs just to survive. You don't have to choose between a paycheck and going to the doctor, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think it is so important that we, as the leadership in this social action space, provide energy, not just education. We have to provide energy to keep everyone excited, and it starts at home. It starts in Sigma. Like, we have to stay excited about this work. We have to stay at the forefront of this movement, and we can't let the work beat us down.
No, we cannot. We cannot.
So, I do have a question though.
Sure.
So when we talk about what does this look like when Sigma lives the mission versus performing, what's the difference? And then what does living the mission look like to you rather than just performing?
Living the mission to me means that every chapter, everywhere, we should see some sort of motion. We should see some sort of action. We should see voter registration drives. We should see a sea of men in blue and white in the neighborhoods, making sure that everything is okay with the community as best as it could be, making sure that they can see Phi Beta Sigma as a lighthouse, a safe place, a safe space. You can hear the people in the grocery store, girl, I saw those Sigmas out there, they marching again. Well, Miss Gladys, I saw that they was marching last week about something else. I think they're really doing something special. I feel like, we have the ability, to be able to get that done. And I think that the more that we galvanize, as I said earlier, every brother from everywhere, no matter your status. This is very important, because I know how it is. Life goes on, life gets busy, I'll come back to it, and then all of a sudden we're in the second iteration of the Great Orange Gestapo. We're in the second iteration of, we got a stimulus check this time, but it's not coming this time. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and I think we have to turn the complaint into action.
Correct.
Because the complaint can't change and turn into complacency.
Correct.
Right? It has to go into action. And so, Brother Eaton, I think this has been great. So as we plan the next episodes throughout the year, I know we have some exciting guests scheduled to come. Some exciting topics. We're gonna just keep hitting this. But brothers, if there's something you want us to discuss, if there's a guest or a type of guest you want us to have on the show, reach out to us. We'll do our best to make that happen, because we're here for the brotherhood.
Absolutely.
We're here for the community.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to make sure that we keep the information at the forefront. But if there's information that you feel that you need, brothers, let us know. We'll definitely get that to you. We'll definitely we'll do something specific for your request, just to make sure you have what you need. But brothers, just like Brother Eaton said, we need to secure this vote.
Absolutely.
We have the toolkit ready for every chapter to do document drives, voter registration, voter checks, voter education, voter empowerment. We have the tools in place. We have the brothers to help your chapter to implement and carry out. We have if your chapter, if we need to figure out and find the finances for something to happen, we'll figure it out, because this is too important to not try everything.
Absolutely.
And I know, talking to the other regional directors of social action across the country for each region, we're going to join together and to have one initiative across every region.
Yes.
It may be called something different, but the goal is to educate, to empower, to register voters.
Absolutely.
And it may look different for every community. Some communities may need to do some transportation to the polls. Some communities may need to just make sure that their registrations are still valid. Some communities may have gotten hit harder by the ID changes. So every community is different. We're not trying to create something one fix for every community.
Correct.
Making sure that we have the tools in place that whatever the community needs, we're there to provide it.
Absolutely.
Any closing words, Brother Eden?
I recommend you buckle up, because there are going to be some serious subjects that we're going to cover over the course of time and space. We are definitive and we are absolute in this thing called social action. We are taking action. We are taking action now by carrying the vision and bringing it to the masses. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. I promise you, you will be empowered. I promise you, you will gain knowledge. I promise you, you're going to want to be on the right side of history.
Yes, sir.
On this go around.
And I can promise two things. One, that at one of these episodes, I'm probably gonna cry. So don't y'all say nothing. Don't y'all
Absolutely.
say nothing. If y'all hear this and y'all see me cry, y'all leave it right here on the podcast and hit stop.
That's right. That's right.
When I'm done. But it'll probably happen, because I take this seriously.
Absolutely.
And I may cry out of anger and I may cry out of sadness, but it's probably gonna happen.
Absolutely.
The other piece is that if you hear this podcast and choose not to do anything, you indeed are the problem.
Absolutely.
And I challenge you that if you hear this podcast and you don't know what to do, that's fine. We'll help you with that part. But if you don't feel moved to do something, check yourself.
Absolutely. Because
you are part of the problem.
Absolutely.
And there has to be movement. There has to be action from everyone. With that said, brothers, I thank you for joining. I thank you for listening. Brothers, I ask that you subscribe, you share this podcast on your social media, word of mouth, text, email, carrier pigeon, smoke flames, whatever you got to do. Share this podcast, get it out there, because the information is crucial. And the work
very
is
crucial. Very crucial.
Thank you.
This is our cause.
Our cause. Go Mob.
Go Mob.
This is our cause, our voice, our lane. Blue and white, standing through the struggle and pain. From the streets